The Super Eagles of Nigeria had an emphatic win over Gabon in the first semi-final of the African playoffs of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers in USA come 2026. It was a 4-1 victory, and it was a game that a lot of Nigerians enjoyed watching, both home and abroad. Right here on Football Gazette, myself, Olushola Victor, and
Of course, Muyiwa Joshua here. Call me MJ for short. You're definitely spot on, Victor. That particular game you made mention of earlier was really something outstanding yesterday from the Nigeria Super
Absolutely.
Eagles. Even though personally,
yeah,
I think they shouldn't have gotten themselves in that mess. But it is what it is. They are there and they are proving their mettle and the African playoffs. The first one is gone. Now to the big one come Sunday against DRC Congo. We really can't wait to get that in front of our screens.
Well, before we cannot wait for Sunday, let's wait and take our minds back to how that game actually went down. You know, a lot of things happened in the game, and I must tell you that a lot of Nigerians have different things to say. I mean, talking about from the goalkeeper down to the midfield, down to our very prolific and, dare I say, the best striker on the continent right now, Victor Osimhen, who eventually got a brace in extra time of that particular game after losing a sitter in, close to the dying moment of the game, which could have actually just, won the game for Nigeria without stretching it into extra time. I'm going to start off with Victor Osimhen, Muyiwa.
Contrary to what you said earlier, missing a sitter, I think several sitters.
Oh, not even just one.
In regulation time.
I think I'm more interested in that final one that he
that
missed.
That final one after the equalizer.
The wayward shot that could have won the game for us.
Yesterday, I want to believe wasn't Victor Osimhen's day. On a normal day.
Okay.
On a typical Victor Osimhen
he buries those kind of goals. Yes.
He buries them effortlessly.
It's interesting to mention that
overtime with the Nigeria Super Eagles with Galatasaray. So yesterday, of course, it happens. It happens. Even the best of the best legs in the world, the Cristiano Ronaldos, the Lionel Messi, the Erling Braut Haaland, often have their own shares of those off days in the office.
Absolutely.
So I think yesterday was actually Victor Osimhen's own. But then, regardless, he still got himself a fantastic brace right at the end of it.
Okay, now, I want to ask you emphatically, if you take out Victor Osimhen from the game of yesterday, do you think Nigeria would have had that sort of result against Gabon?
I want to believe that Victor's presence alone
in the team
is a factor that scares opponent away. Regardless of whatever tactical acumen or tactical approach their manager, the players have built to explore against the Super Eagles of Nigeria or any team Victor Osimhen plays against in Turkey as well. So I think his presence alone is something worth fearing. He's a fearful nature as a striker, a fearful figure as a striker in front. So I think Nigeria is really lucky to have him presently, especially in the African playoff. We made mention of DRC Congo the other time. It's going to be an interesting feature, especially that Victor Osimhen will still be available for that particular match. So I think I really want to see that. I can't wait to.
So safe to say you were saying that Victor Osimhen's presence in the national team is a motivating factor for the boys?
Trust me, not even for the opponents alone now.
For the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
I think he has this spirit in him to propel his teammates to do more.
I feel like he has some fire burning inside of him.
Exactly.
Just,
when you see Victor Osimhen
he's hungry for the goal.
Exactly. So I really do think the Nigerian Super Eagles are really lucky to have him at this point in time.
There's another man in the Super Eagles squad, Benjamin Frederick, who's been talked about after the game. I mean, he's been part of this team since these qualifiers. I mean, a lot of games have passed, but I think yesterday he did show himself as a force to reckon with, being that he pocketed one of the best strikers in the world at one point in time. Pierre Aubameyang right now, was pocketed by Frederick, a certain 20-year-old guy who was introduced to this team by Eric Charles. What do you have to say about that man?
Fantastic job so far, if you ask me, that Eric Charles has done. I mean, although at some point he came into the Super Eagles job as though there was just little or no thrust in him at all.
Absolutely.
From the Nigerian populace. But then he's proven his mettle. He's proven to be this manager who can actually learn on the job and still get results, right? So we've seen that with the Nigerian Super Eagles, and not only his tactical approach to matches now is commendable, but his eyes for certain talents. Like you said, he actually brought in Frederick, and he's been phenomenal ever since making that switch. I mean, not a switch, but appearance for the Super Eagles. I mean, one would hardly believe that he's just 20 years old.
No, I mean, hard to believe. I mean, he plays like he's been playing, like he's been doing this for, since he was born.
I tell you. I mean, anytime I watch him play, he sends this signal to me, thinking about the early days of Leon Balogun and William Troost-Ekong partnership in the art of defense for the Super Eagles. It was nothing short of being fantastic then. But then, it is what it is. Now that we have Frederick on our hands again, I hope Eric Chell is able to keep him fit as much as possible to for us to see more.
Well, he will be fit against DR Congo on Sunday. I mean, that is that is for sure. But I have a question now. Okay. I want to just maybe poke you a little bit and maybe put you on the spot. Do you think Eric Chell has been spectacular when it comes to being tactical with this team, or has he just been a lucky coach who actually came into the Super Eagles team and has been managing the team when they have been getting the results? Or has it been a result of his tactics, maybe his, as some people would say, his sublime substitutions, his ability to manage the game, manage the players? Do you think that is what has made a difference with this team, or do you think this man Eric Chell is just lucky with the team?
I would want to attribute his success, as the case may be now, so far with the Super Eagles of Nigeria, with his in-game management.
In-game management
and his man management as well.
Of the players now.
I mean, having to bring this set of players together is no small feat. Of course, you would agree with me, they play for the best club. I mean, the biggest clubs.
Yes.
When it comes to Europe.
Absolutely.
Playing for Fulham is no small feat. Playing for Sevilla.
No, it's not a small feat.
Playing for Galatasaray. I mean, these guys are very big guys
for Atlanta,
on a normal day.
Yes.
So bringing them together and have them get results is not something you get to see often. Of course, we've seen some Super Eagles coaches come and gone in recent times. I would want to spare their names. But then, they found it really difficult to manage the big names, this crop of players. They found it extremely difficult to manage them, especially one that caused an outburst on social media involving Victor Osimhen and a certain coach.
Absolutely.
So I think Eric Chell isn't getting this deserved praise.
Are you serious right now? So you think he needs to be praised more?
I think he needs to be praised more. Trust me. I see football matches, Nigerian football matches in viewing centers, and I hear what people say.
So you think the Super Eagles of Nigeria?
Some people don't even know him.
You think the Super Eagles of Nigeria are playing better football under Eric Chell now?
No, I don't want to say better football, but then grinding out the results,
getting the results,
which
is what football is all about.
Managing the team properly, regardless of the names there, and his in-game management so far, maybe personally to me, I think has been so fantastic.
Okay.
Trust me.
Okay. And now another question that a lot of Nigerians, might want to have, on the tip of their tongue right now is, do you think we have a World Cup team? I mean, we struggled against a lot of African countries in these qualifiers so many times. I mean, countries like Lesotho, Zimbabwe, and the likes there. Do you think we have what it takes to face the greats when it comes to the World Cup in 2026?
Victor, I saw something yesterday.
I mean, let's talk about us qualifying. Let's hope that we do qualify.
We do qualify for the Mundial there in the North Americas. Yeah, I actually saw something yesterday. I sat and was trying to analyze what exactly is wrong. Then I came to a conclusion that maybe African football always find a way to neutralize this player's skill set.
Hey, really?
I mean, honestly, that's what I just feel. Because when you take a look at these players in Europe for their club sites and what they play here, you know what made me conclude about that? I saw the Cameroon DR Congo match
game, and
then I saw Mbemo
was
he was nowhere to be found. Someone who is like on fire right now with Manchester United and coming to Cameroon and just
First of all, the players they play with are different.
You know, so that made me come to that conclusion.
I don't think it's an African thing, honestly.
I think it's an African thing.
Let me tell you why I don't think so. Because let's take a look at the Algeria national team, for example.
You know,
let's also take a look.
When it comes to
they are Africans, so they are Africans. Let's also take
on paper.
Let's also take a look at the Moroccans as well.
They are Africans.
The Morocco national team also.
But then, can we actually say they play African football?
That's what I'm saying. That the set of players they play with is the reason why. It's not necessarily an African thing because we have other players who play, you know, club football in Europe's top leagues that still play in some African countries. That even okay, let me take away Africa. Okay, so you are saying that as long as they leave Europe and come to Africa, say the West, East, and Southern African parts, they don't play as good as they do with their club sides.
Wait, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I'm not talking about their club sides. I'm talking about African football. Let's just take away the North. Okay. Let's take away the North.
So let's put Africa in view now.
Because I think watching their game, it's well modeled after European football. I don't know if you're getting me. But when you see Eastern Africa, West Africa, and the likes, I mean, our football is just
identical.
You get it?
Identical.
So I think
below par.
Exactly, I'm below par to what we can get in Europe and North Africa. That's why they keep dominating Africa generally.
Absolutely.
I mean, the likes of Egypt,
I think I would agree with you as well. I think I'd agree. I mean, they're even closer to, you know, they're closer.
Yeah, they are closer to Europe than the rest of the African nations.
So that's why there's a big distance between our playing style.
Honestly, so I don't know, but when you see the likes of Alex Iwobi, of Calvin Bassey being everly reliable when it comes to playing for Fulham.
But we have a certain South Africa, let me cut you there, please. A certain South Africa national team who also plays good football. Yes.
Wait, you think South Africa play good football?
Yes. I mean, compared to a lot of Southern, you know, African countries, South Africa, you know, compared to Nigeria, if you are being fair. If we are being fair.
You think South Africa actually plays better than the Super Eagles of Nigeria?
When you say results-based,
I don't think so.
If you say results-based, these South African countries, or rather South Africa herself, doesn't have favorable results against Nigeria. But if you talk about playing football, I mean, all the times we've played against South Africa, do you think we've played better football against them?
You know, honestly, I don't think South Africa has played anywhere close to the Super Eagles in recent times.
Talking about the games, the gameplay and everything.
Not the results, the gameplay. I mean, there's nothing exceptional the guys from South Africa play. Trust me, it might actually be my own personal
take. Of course, I'm just putting it on the table now.
That's the angle I actually view it from. South Africa do not play better football than Nigeria. You're astounded.
No, I'm actually not astounded because it's just, you know, a point of view that I have that I feel like sometimes I watch the South African boys play.
So you think they play maybe better football than Nigeria?
Honestly, because if you put the players they have in their squad side by side with our own players,
they are majorly
and the quality and that's exactly where I'm going. And the quality of football that they play at their level, with the quality of football that our boys that play in Europe play, it's questionable because we are not entirely different.
Okay.
Because for them that are majorly home-based, still delivering those kind of performances, compared to our boys who played in Europe and come back home,
you
expect like a big difference. It's more like if you put South Africa side by side with, say, Morocco now or Algeria, the difference is clear. And these people don't even have crop of players that play in Europe. But almost all our players play in European sides.
Of Nigeria playing African football. I mean, to the question you asked me, how far this crop of players would actually fare when it comes to playing at the FIFA World Cup eventually if they qualify. I mean, at the FIFA World Cup, we would have South Americans, would have teams from Asia, would have teams from Europe
from different continents.
So I think we can actually maybe, to an extent,
fare better.
Maybe when we get maybe
a favorable group.
Yeah, aside from that, a favorable group and maybe opponents from other continents and not us playing African football. I think maybe these guys will be able to show a glimpse of maybe what we do see from them week in, week out in Europe.
Okay, we wait to see. But by the way, on Sunday, that's tomorrow, Nigeria will take on DR Congo in the final of the African playoffs. One more talking point about this African playoffs, and especially for Nigeria, that I think we should touch on just before we call it a wrap, has to be this man, our goalkeeper, the man between the sticks for us, Stanley Nwabali, who I believe has now almost become a nuisance to the team, because even the players in the dressing room, are subtly talking about it, talking about how he needs to stop some of the things that he does and all that. But then there's an angle I want to come from now. Very recently, he lost both parents just after the AFCON.
Yeah.
He lost his mother first, and then
weeks later.
Few weeks, right?
Yeah,
Not even up to a month.
Yeah.
A few weeks later, he lost his father. Now, some of the things that he does, sometimes I look at them and I just, I'm having to question his mental state. Honestly, that's my own opinion. That's how I'm looking at it now. Because I do not want to believe that Stanley Nwabali is completely sane, let me use that word now, and doing some of the things that he does. I mean, unnecessary time wastage, some very silly... I feel like he's a good goalkeeper, but I feel like at this time, maybe he needs to be checked. Maybe he needs some, mental therapy, so to say, which I believe might be the reason for some of the things that he does on the pitch.
Victor, trust me, if the past outings, the past few games, is anything to go by, I would actually say categorically, maybe it's high time Stanley Nwabali is being dropped. Yes, because I saw him in the match against Gabon, and aside from the fact that he conceded that particular goal, there were moments of madness from him that made me question if this guy is actually the number one goalkeeper of the national
Nigeria,
team.
Man.
I mean, we haven't had it that worse. Those moments, you just see him trying to kick a goal kick, and he'll just kick it in the middle of nowhere. I mean, at times you see him waiting for the attacking player to just trample on him.
Unnecessary time wastage. I mean, it's still the first half of the game, wasting time to serve the ball, unnecessary gimmicks on the pitch. And I wonder why.
It's really crazy, but I think, you know what? It doesn't have that much competition when it comes to the research.
I mean, we have Maduka Okoye.
Maduka Okoye is another question mark when it comes to
he also has his own...
He's had his own fair share of being error prone. So I think majority of football lovers in Nigeria won't even maybe want to see anything from Maduka Okoye any longer. But
let me cut you there. You talked about, or rather, you used the phrase error prone. But I do not think Nwabali is error prone, because he has had, he has made very little or, almost no errors
leading to goal.
Yes.
But would you rather have errors leading to heart attack? No, because it's actually crazy. The things this guy does.
You have a point, because sometimes I just watch him and, the way he handles the ball, I feel like he's a great goalkeeper. And interestingly, when he was at Lobby Stars, I used to follow this guy in the MPFL. He was a great goalkeeper. He wasn't like this. He didn't used to do like this. Even during the AFCON, it was. But after the AFCON, that's when this whole attitude started. I feel like he's a great goalkeeper, but he lacks the character of being the number one goalkeeper of the Super Eagles.
Trust me, you're entitled to your own personal opinion, but to me, I've never seen him being that spectacular.
Really?
For the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I would be sincere with you. Okay. I don't watch his game in South Africa.
Oh, okay, okay.
The only time I get to see him is when he dons the
national colors.
Yeah, the national colors. But then I've never seen anything spectacular from.
I mean, if you put him side by side with all the players that we have in the team right now, the goalkeepers, I think it's still the best that we can have.
Oh, but of course, that's because we don't have options. I made mention of that earlier. That's because we really don't have options on our books presently.
I think it needs to be talked to. I mean, maybe funny how I believe it needs to see a therapist.
I think a therapy section.
It needs to see a therapist. But then the way to see, hopefully on Sunday he doesn't make error that will lead to a goal, against DR Congo in the final of the African playoffs of this particular World Cup qualifiers for the Super Eagles. Until we come your way again, we look forward to the game on Sunday, and we do hope that we have an amazing result at the end of 90 minutes, or maybe extra time, or maybe even penalties. What do you think about that?
Let's just do regulation time, I beg. All right, until some other time, when we get back here again, do stay good and safe. Peace out.